Good afternoon. Techimpact is back. Jean-Luc.
Good afternoon. Happy weekend, everybody. Hope you had a good week and a nice Friday.
Nice Friday. Introductions, remember.
My name is Jean-Luc. For any new listeners, I am 21 years old, and I've been interested in technology for most of my life, mainly as a form of entertainment, but more recently, more of cryptocurrencies and computer science.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jean-Luc. I'm his dad. My name is Bruce. I've been a content professional for a very long time, multimedia engineering, and also a digital marketing consultant, and a recent Cardano advocate, as you may notice now on the third show.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome everybody, and we've got a great show today, and we brought some cool stuff to show you as well. So let's talk about the big news. Let's talk Bitcoin. OMG, right? What's going on? What's going on with Bitcoin, Jean-Luc?
Last I heard, this is the... More recently, it's gone below 50,000.
Yes, below 50,000.
First time for a while now.
Yeah, and I have it right here. So right now at CoinMarketCap, Bitcoin is priced at 47,799, and it's doing a decline. And if we do a little bit of research, it has a little bit to do with Elon Musk and what he's been putting out for information. And I think this piece of news is interesting for us to take a deeper look at cryptocurrency. And right now, because it's such big news, and you and me have some opinions about it, and let's talk about it. So, what do you think now? What does this do for investor confidence?
For the most part, many people are very confident in Bitcoin to have a slow increase, right? But for the past few months, after reaching 60,000, it's been dwindling at the 50,000s, and now it's dropped below. And I think most of the people who have invested into it would be losing confidence.
Right.
More simply put, yeah.
Yeah. If I take a look now at some of the news that I want to share with our listeners, there was an article by MSN.com talking about Tesla influencing the price changes, and as we can see here, the CEO Elon Musk has decided to drop accepting Bitcoin because of the environmental issues. This is where I kind of jump in and say this is why I believe I'm a Cardano advocate. I believe in Cardano because of how they approach putting more cryptocurrency in the space, and this is where we're talking about mining, right? So the proof of work that we talked about in the last show. And do you think that's a realistic issue? That creating more Bitcoins just requires way too much energy in a world where we need to start thinking about becoming more efficient?
Honestly, yes. It is a major issue, actually, how much energy creating blocks actually does. It's been calculated to be roughly near an entire small country worth of electricity.
Right. And do you think there's still incentive for people to, let's say right now you had $1 million. What would be better, buying Bitcoin or maybe investing in a miner, or is both sort of a bad idea? What do you think?
I would say that investing in both, especially in the current cryptocurrency sphere, that it would be not as well to invest into Bitcoin or mining for Bitcoin in general, especially since even Ethereum, the other more famous cryptocurrency, is also
number two.
is also in an all-time high, going over $3,300.
Yeah, I think I saw that it's right under 4,000. So you can see there is a relationship that's starting to become apparent in this new landscape. You know, but let me segue to let me just finish up with a conclusion. I think Elon is having a little bit of fun, and I think he's educating the masses by, you know, tweeting these things. I don't think he's trolling or anything, or he's being, you know, malicious or trying to be. I really think that he's letting us know through his own platforms with his own companies, hey guys, this is what Bitcoin is about, you know? And I'm kind of feeling a move to go away from Bitcoin into something else. And let me segue into Cardano news, right? So in extreme contrast to us Cardano holders, we've gone over the $2 mark, which is, you know,
huge.
It's huge, and I love that the concept is proving itself. You know, last week we talked about Cardano Africa, and how they pretty much did the biggest blockchain deal ever so far with the Ministry of Education in Ethiopia. And now you can see the confidence that surrounds all those projects. And to note, you can see that this proof of stake is working. You know, this is where when a market grows and a lot of people are staking their coin and not really speculating it, I think it gives a much safer investment environment, you know. And I'm really proud to see that our predictions are coming out, because we did expect this in this month. And
a lot of people would assumed or guessed that because of the deal, the value would go up,
right?
But not by this much.
Right, true. I'm gonna now, you know, look at this article, and you can see that in the last 2 weeks, it's steadily growing. You know, it's going over and over. And what's interesting is that at Yahoo Finance, they are announcing the roadmap. So if you don't know anything about Cardano has a roadmap where with every era, new releases come out of software and new projects are put into place. And right now, because of the project in Africa and the World Mobile Group, that is a big one where they're trying to get people online and get them on digital services. And I think now it's showing in investor confidence.
So each new era adds more technology to the blockchain, right?
They have a roadmap, and I think we're going to have to just dive a bit deeper, and let's promise that to our listeners next week, where we talk about these eras, because we're going to enter a new era. We're going to end the Goguen era, and then talk about what's coming up next for Cardano.
But is there anything else you would like to talk about? Because I want to segue real quick.
No, I think I'm done with Cardano for today, but super stoked. All the Cardano holders out there on Aruba, we should all be proud, and drop us a message if you've got some and that you're proud of it.
So you keep mentioning proof of work and proof of stake, right?
Right.
But I don't think for the dear listeners who don't really know what that means or what that entails, I would like to go into blockchain.
Sure.
And basically what a blockchain is and what a block is, really. Because
sure,
it's a word that is thrown around a lot, right? So whenever you're talking about cryptocurrency,
especially lately.
Yeah, especially lately. And I wanted to attempt to simply explain it to the dear listeners who don't know what we're talking about.
Sure.
So each cryptocurrency has their own blockchain.
Right.
And the simplest so far is Bitcoin, the original.
The first experiment. That's why it's called not an altcoin, alternative coin.
And essentially, and very simply put, a blockchain is simply a ledger. And for those who don't know what a ledger is, imagine a book,
right,
with a lot of pages. And in order, it has each confirmed transaction recorded that has ever happened. And so you can go on each page, you can look up the page, and you will find a transaction, right?
Right.
So imagine each page is then the block.
Right.
And these blocks, these pages, are inherently linked to each other.
And that's why the word chained.
And that's why it's called a chain. Yeah.
Right.
And what's amazing is that it's the miner's job for proof of work blockchains, which is Bitcoin, is that it's the miner's job to create these blocks, to confirm these transactions, and then create them. And
Right.
that is how the mining works. And essentially, these graphics cards, these computers, take all of these transactions and then they use proof of work, which is they take all of the data and they put it through an algorithm. And
Right.
they try to get a very pretty number with a bunch of zeros at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And it takes, it's too advanced technology and coding for even me to try to explain and fully understand.
Right, it's cryptography, right?
It is cryptography,
Right.
yes. But essentially, it takes a lot of
Energy.
computational power
Now.
now
Yeah,
and
after
energy,
so many years.
yes, to confirm a block, to get that proof of work.
Understood.
And so each beginning of the page has the proof of work of the previous page.
And that's how they're interlinked.
That's how they interlinked.
Yeah.
And it's also how it is almost impossible to try to have a false transaction, because the moment you try to change any form of data in any way, shape, or form, from may it be the address, the value, when, it changes the proof of work. And that means the blockchain would then break. It wouldn't make sense.
Okay. Can I add on to that now?
Yeah, of course.
I love the way you explained it. It's a lot of information, and
Yeah.
that's why I think the wording miner came out of people that are just speculating and they want to create worth. But we're not really mining. What
No.
we're doing is proof of work. So that's why there's a lot of terminologies that will give the false impression. And you know what I think is interesting, what you just said, is that that's why it's interesting what the alternative coins are doing. And let's mention now Ethereum, for example,
Yeah.
is taking that fact, right? That base, that security of data, and it's not a third party, it's blockchain. So, for example, if we would want to trust good food, we have to trust an agency that is a third party. But now a replacement could be great protocol, good governance, and the blockchain. And we can solve that third party dependency. And this is where we're excited to see the applications of blockchain in totality over that base. So that's why we got to keep following the news. And what Charles would call it was first gen, what you mentioned. Is
The Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, it was an experiment. How can you create something that is scarce? How can you create something that has a cap and create a governance protocol that doesn't need anybody, right? And that is a highly successful project, kind of, right? So we got to thank the anonymous person, Mr.
Satoshi Nakamoto.
that tried to change the world in a way, tried to give us something to work with and make a difference.
You could argue he succeeded.
Oh, no, he succeeded. Look, Fortune 500 companies have put money into it, something that would have been insane 15, 20 years ago, So, yeah, thank you for that.
But I would like to go a little bit deeper.
Oh, here we go.
We can move on to what Ethereum is doing.
Why don't you enlighten me and us?
So basically, blockchain allows for things to be decentralized. There is no person or body that confirms the transactions, right? It is fully decentralized, and that's what that term means for the listeners who never really could figure
It sounds like
out.
it sounds like anarchy.
Yeah.
It sounds like chaos.
It's just protocol and math doing the confirmation for you. And so what Ethereum tried to do is, what can it mean for any form of data to be confirmed and tracked? And it doesn't take anybody to confirm who owns it and where it goes, right?
Right.
And so they tried to introduce smart contracts. Right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but smart contracts, what's smart about it?
Basically, from what I understand, is that it's a program a contract that is built on the blockchain, where you can give it a circumstance, and if that circumstance comes to life, it will do something.
Right.
Very
So
simply
there's
put.
criteriums and variables, and they have to be met, and then. So it's basically that's exactly what programming language does.
Yes, yes.
Right.
If then.
If then go to.
Yeah, yeah. And what you could do is you could say, if I own this many coins, and Johnny sends me 1 coin, the smart contract can immediately and automatically confirm it, and then if it said, if I receive a coin and I send 3 back, it will automatically send 3 back.
Right. And when I talk to people in my adoption process, right, communicating about it, don't you feel that there are misconceptions in these words? Mining, like you imagine some guy with a computer, chiseling away something to create value.
That is the imagery that a lot of people
and it's totally
advertise.
incorrect, really.
Yeah.
It's not even what is being done in real time with real work. But do you think that people have a distrust for letting go of the human hand on things? For example, what a bank does or insurance does, that people handle accounts, and now we're going to give it away to the blockchain. Do you think people are scared of that kind of
I think they
application?
I think they are very wary. It's because, and I don't blame them, of course, that they don't fully understand what's going on.
Right.
All they hear is blockchain, decentralized, no trust confirmation of transactions.
EC20 tokens.
ERC20 tokens.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think now I'm going to have to tell you that let's not go deeper. Let's leave it at that. It was a lot of information. But thank you for that. And we're all learning as we go. And I truly believe that if you want to get involved with cryptocurrency, start reading about it. Start watching, good channels. But don't worry too much about how much something is worth. Find out why, what's going on, what are people doing with cryptocurrency. And hopefully next week we're going to have a new guest. We're going to have Sharon Meyer from the e-commerce week from Economische Zaken.
Wow.
And we'll be having some great conversations with her. And I think most people in the community that is looking towards the digitalization, borderless economy, let's start looking at things that way, and it's going to get pretty interesting, pretty exciting. And speaking of which, would you allow me to segue into my little project of the week?
Which one of the many?
Which one of the many? Well, I brought today for the show, I have the box right here, and we've hooked up the Raspberry Pi 400. I want to talk a little bit about this ingenious piece of educational equipment.
Looks like a keyboard to me.
It is a keyboard with a computer on it. So I'm going to boot it up and ask our producer to change the camera angle for a second so we can take a look at the screen. And of course, for our podcasts that have no visuals, let's make sure we're descriptive. So now we're taking a look at it. What does this look like to you, Jean-Luc?
So all I see is basically a what looks like a Mac OS.
Yeah, it is. It is actually a Mac. Excuse me. This is Twister OS, and it is a Linux distribution. Let me take the official quote from the website. It's to provide a true desktop experience on single board computers, which is what a Raspberry Pi is, a single board. My mouse is not working at the moment. Let me see if I can get it tracking.
So basically, you have this screen connected to this keyboard, right?
Right.
But you're telling me that this tiny average-looking keyboard is the entire computer.
Yes,
where this OS is running on.
So let me show you a little bit what we're looking at. So this is what they call sort of a Mac version of Linux. So it has all these icons. So if I click on, for example, Pages, it will open a whole Office suite. So if anybody wants to experiment with a new operating system, I would highly recommend to check out Twister OS, and you can download it on many different computers. but you can use it specifically for older computers because it's very light and very efficient. So, what's
Is
this?
it free? Do you have to pay for it?
It's absolutely free.
Open source.
Open source,
Wow.
yes, it's beautiful. So here we have a spreadsheet based, excuse me, a word processing software, and I want to show you a little bit something really cool. It has its own launchpad, so it comes with these very interesting piece of software, and right now, let me show you, and our viewers. This is all for free. And for example, you can even install Windows software and it will run on something called Wine. So if I see Wine configuration, that's my Windows icon right there. Okay, so so let's take a look. So this is the Twister OS website. Go check it out. It's really cool stuff. I'm gonna attempt to install it on an old laptop of my wife. It's an old Sony, really glitchy. And we can just breathe new life into it with the Raspberry, with Twister OS.
So the website is twisteros.com.
Twisteros.com, yes, sir.
Not sponsored.
And but let's do something interesting. What it is here really for? So the Twister OS can have different desktop experiences. So let me go look for it.
Different desktop experiences.
Yeah. So right here at, can you help me out? Because I can't. I'm looking for it. 1 second, guys. Here we go. Twister OS.
So,
yeah, here we go.
So currently it looks like a slightly off Mac OS.
Yes, a slightly off Mac
Yeah.
OS.
For those who know Mac, they would notice the discrepancies.
So what do you use?
I'm a Windows man.
Which Windows? Windows 10.
I use Windows 10.
Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to turn this into a Windows experience. So I'm going to click on dark.
You can choose a dark theme. Wow.
A dark theme. And what the Raspberry is going to do is going to just reboot the whole system for me. So I'm going to press enter, boom. And now we're going to reboot it. And let's just kind of take a look. It's not that slow. So what's very interesting is that this typical distribution of Linux has this built in, where usually you have to sudo this from the terminal. You have to actually write down some code to change the experience. But Linux has many different types of distributions. And this is a group of people that are trying to really give you something out of the box. Oh, we even got the Windows noise, which I thought, oh, this is the same operating system. So yeah, our producer switched it. And now it's configured a little more like Windows with a menu on the bottom. And Chromium will work. Another interesting info of this OS is that Netflix and Hulu will work.
Wow.
Whereas the original Raspberry Pi OS, it will not be able to work. You have to do incredible, software installs and whatnot.
Software Mojo Magic.
Software Mojo Magic, absolutely. Which I really don't have patience for. I just want to get in there and get busy.
So how long did it take to set this up?
That is a great question. Thank you for that. So yeah, guys, so installing this type of software is pretty easy. All you need is a computer. And what I bought a small SD card, 128 or 32 gig, and I flash it using my Mac. And then I install it on the SD card. And then I plug the SD card into my Raspberry and it boots up.
So I'm assuming flashing means that you basically upload the necessary software onto the SD drive.
I think what it does is it creates a startup disk, right? So it's an image, what they used to call an ISO image, putting an image on a hard drive. So the lingo for us Linux users is that we flash the drive and then it's pretty much a startup disk. And then it will automatically recognize it from any SD. So most of the Raspberries are set up that way.
Wow.
But yeah, I think it's really cool. And I'm going to attempt to create a true creative studio with the Raspberry Pi 400 and Twister OS. Can I really get creative work done? So I'm going to try this this upcoming week.
So how much did this keyboard-looking mini computer cost?
It costs, the high-end one, which is with 8 gigabytes, costs about $80. And for a full desktop experience, I think that is really amazing. It's really amazing.
$80.
$80
for a full
and
computer.
as an educational tool to get people to experience a desktop in another way, but at the same time learn about software and computers. And it's even to me a full-blown gaming console. It's just that we are limited to, you know, earlier graphic engines, and it doesn't mean that they're not fun, and that's what I think is fun.
So, as I've had experience building my own computer, right? I also had to upload a OS, and me being familiar and comfortable with Windows, I was very shocked to learn the hefty price one has to pay to be able to get the full Windows OS. Multiple hundreds of dollars just for the OS.
Well, and I think, you know, it's all about value, right? It's all about, you know, Microsoft is a business. And you need successful businesses to keep investing in research and development, so I understand that. But at the same time, there's another way of approaching things, which is a community-led project. You know, so that's what open source is for. And open source is more about creating an industry and letting spin-offs to come into fruition by mass adoption. And in mass adoption, you have massive testing, and in massive testing, you have enormous improvement into experiences. You know, for example, one of the more successful open source projects is GIMP, which is a, you know, photo editing software, has been around for 20, 30 years. And now it's getting to a point where people are starting to make more content.
I think a very popular open source project was actually Minecraft.
Yes,
the code was absolutely open source, and I believe that was a reason for its success as a game, because of what the community could do with the simple game. Create mods, create texture packs. Yeah,
and my producer's just letting me know we've got the desktop right here, so you can see it on my right side hand. This is the whole computer right there, and we've got it connected to a screen. And actually, as a sort of special treat, we're going to end this podcast with some gaming. You and me are going to go play some Street Fighter on the SNES emulator that comes pre-installed in this operating system.
Wow.
And just to give some more information, let's keep on going on the Raspberry Pi. I think it's an amazing piece of educational software. Let's talk about some code dojos. Have you ever heard of that, a code dojo?
Not really, no.
Well, I'm happy to report that we from Techimpact have started a affiliation with Code Dojo that comes from the Raspberry Pi organization, where we will be doing free workshops towards the community. There's more news coming. We're actually in the process of getting some extra Raspberry Pis from a reputable sponsor. But we plan from Techimpact and Defined Concepts and our decentralized alliance to start a free workshop coming in the summer. So what do you think about that?
Well, that's news to me as well.
Yeah, I've been working on that for a while. So I'm doing a course. It's a free course on the Raspberry. I have some experience already with giving Photoshop classes and consultancy and introductions and workshops. But now we're going to move towards something that I'm more excited about, which is, getting kids to start using computers as building blocks. And I'm really excited about that. And what's amazing is that they've got a whole platform, and you don't need technical skills really to get one started. And fortunately, we do have some technical skills. I'm boarding on team members that do have that programming knowledge to help us out. But what's interesting is that it's supposed to be a fun, a fun social experience for kids. So
I think it's socially acceptable for them to do this. Yeah.
Well, wrong wording, but what you have to create is an environment of learning, an environment of solving problems, and an environment of leadership. And I'm really excited about that.
And I agree. For a brief amount of time, I used to volunteer at YMCA.
Right. Why? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I was shocked to learn that a few of the young teenagers over there, aged 12 to 17, while they play their games, play Minecrafts and everything, they weren't familiar with how to navigate through their windows, how to find software, how to find files. And for me personally, Minecraft was the Pandora's box that led me to start becoming familiar with how to use my OS. And I think it's very important for the youth and for people in general to become familiar with the technology that they will use on a daily basis.
I totally agree. I'll go a step further. You said something very interesting in our previous show where it's almost a necessity. And I'm going further and saying we need to stop being consumers of computers, but participate in engineering of computers and software, and start becoming more adept, more dexterous with software in general. And this is a great place to start. And let me add on something. In every single OS, distribution of Linux, for the single board computer Raspberry Pi, there is always a Minecraft install.
Wow.
And at the Raspberry Foundation, we are going to use the Minecraft as a learning platform for programming, because what's interesting in the upcoming workshop project is that we can make Minecraft communicate with peripherals on the GPIO, general purpose input-output module on the Raspberry Pi. It's a complicated word, I know.
Is that hardware?
Hardware,
okay.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, through Python. So
wow.
We're throwing some lingo out there, guys, but just in general, what's interesting that we could, for example, make Minecraft make a printer print.
Wow.
It's not what we're going to do, but that's the interesting aspect of how powerful really Minecraft is and how it was made.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And it was probably made on open source. If I can take a jab at it.
Yeah, it was made open source.
You should know more than me.
Can confirm.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, more stuff coming up. Raspberry Pi org is going to help us educate, and I'm looking forward to getting some kids to learn more about this great operating system and educational platform.
So to continue more on the computer we have in front of us.
Right.
I noticed that
I need to switch back.
I noticed a very peculiar thing. For those who work with different computers or work with different OSs would know that each OS have their own applications, right?
Right.
And here you switched between the Mac-looking one and the Windows one, and yet the same application stayed.
That's a great question. Yes, because what we're really doing is just changing the interface, but the core is the same. So usually the applications stay where they are. It's just that how can you get to them is just a little bit different. So for us Mac users, we usually have a interface on the next of a window, so we can get to our folders quickly. And we usually have a dock where we like putting our most used programs. But in Windows, how is it for you?
Most of the things are just on the dock, and you can use the file searcher, or you put everything on your desktop, which is just
like one of those shortcuts, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm really not into that. So yeah.
So essentially, with this computer, you change the GUI, the graphical user interface.
Exactly. The GUI.
The GUI.
The graphic user interface, or
GUI.
User experience.
Or user experience. Yeah.
Okay, guys, let me give me a second so I can get the other OS open. Where is it? Let me take a look. We're looking at it right now.
I can clearly see that you are currently struggling to navigate through the Windows.
Yeah, the Windows version. I really can't. So yeah. 1 second.
So basically, he's currently going through the files, trying to search for the proper application to change the OS. I think it's I haven't used this one myself, so I wouldn't know what file he is supposed to look for.
You know what? I think we're gonna have to just get that game running without it. 1 second. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna open the raspberry.org so I can show you.
Raspberry.org? Raspberry www.raspberrypi.org.
Yeah,
no
here we
caps
go.
together.
There we go. Great. Learn. Yeah, so this is what we're going to be using.
Learn at home.
Exactly.
So what are we looking at?
So this is their platform for teaching, and we can guided coded projects. And this is what we will be doing. We'll be picking a project, for example. Here we can make digital art.
And what do you mean by digital art?
Animate a snow scene. So we'll be using Python and graphics and bringing them together and putting in a little code and then animating, right?
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, we're going to learn how to do that in certain software packages.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, here's one of the projects we can see here at the Raspberry Pi.
And this is free.
This is free. Yes, sir.
So all it takes is basically for you to get one of these Raspberry Pis, and then you can visit the website and you have a full course waiting for you.
Yes, but of course that's the bestaansrecht of a code dojo. So a code dojo will be more geared towards building knowledge, and then we're gonna have to kind of pick what will help the community and what they can handle. So there are projects that are much more complicated than others, but we should just start somewhere and have fun with it. What's most important about a code dojo is that it should be a creative outlet. It should be to develop perseverance, because you and me know when we're doing these kind of things, it's not always going to work out of the box.
Yeah.
So programming, a game, or you've made a game once, right?
I have. Yeah. An asteroid shooter.
Wow. And now, how difficult was that to make?
For me personally, I had a guide, and the most difficult part was actually making the graphics and the animations work. But adding the physics and making the interactions work was not that difficult for me, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I hated coding.
Really?
I hated it.
But it was more of a JavaScript-esque type of code. It was in Game Maker Studio, for those who
Oh, yeah. I
delved
remember
into
that
it.
package. Yeah. Cool. Let me add on to what's expected at the Code Dojo. So we have to do some problem solving, of course.
Of course.
It also promotes logical thinking, of course, because that's what programming really is. We're a robot, right?
Only logical.
And again, learning to have fun in social situations. So when we complete projects, it's the point that the project creator presents it. So hopefully in the future we're going to use this show as well to bring students in and let them talk about the creations that we have done in the Code Dojo. And it's supposed to be a unique collaborative environment, and that's what we all been passionate about. I mean, since the first time we did a network game, or when we were smashing together, or even playing combat games like Street Fighter and whatnot. So yeah.
So I have experience, or very light experience, with creating a game, and you mentioned you're a multimedia engineer.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, it was a course we did in Amsterdam, and I guess in those days you had interactive CD-ROMs, rich content websites made in Flash, and multimedia in general. People, creative professionals, end up doing that from printing flyers all the way to animating an intro for a movie, to maybe programming a Flash website that has a small intro. So that's what that was like in 2000. And for me, it was great because we got to have fun with a Mac. It was a Mac-based school. And then we learned, for example, how to program something in Lingo via Macromedia Director, and then creating an interactive CD-ROM, for example, and then going to the studio and making sure the audio is done in a professional manner. So media going from audio all the way to graphics, all the way to 3D. I've modeled telescopes and explained how a telescope works for children. So that was my final project for the school. It was called Scope Kids.
Nice.
And I actually got a pretty good grade for that one, almost perfect. And it was a fun time. And I believe that we're going back to that a new time. There's a lot of stuff to be excited about. And I was telling you this morning. So when I started my journey, I started with a Mac, and I had to learn everything about the Mac. And by learning that computing platform, you also learned more about just creativity in general in that space. And now I'm here at the Raspberry Pi feeling the same thing. I feel something is going to grow, and possibilities are going to grow. And I'm very excited to learn this new operating system and single board computing pretty much, because I feel that single board computers are going to be the building blocks for lots of problem solving, especially for people like us that live in the Caribbean that are going to have to deal with a lot of direct effects of climate change and plastic and all the problems that we have to face as the next generation. It will be better that we know how to solve them ourselves than to trust, centralized organizations to do it for us.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Let me take a small break for a second so I can make this happen.
All right.
And why don't you tell them a little bit more about that asteroid game? What did you use? What was the package you used?
Basically, I used this program called Game Maker Studio, which is basically a very, very easy to use, very user-friendly coding environment.
Okay.
Where you could use prepackaged codings and lines of code that were just literal tiny little blocks that you could put them together and make things work. But I personally did not like those, so I wrote my lines myself. And essentially it gives you the opportunity to upload files, to upload sounds, to upload image files, JPEGs.
So can we call that functional? Is it like a functional package?
I personally would not know, but I would assume so. Yes.
Yeah. So what I've learned is that you have instructional programming and then functional programming. And instructional is a little more risky because it has no safety features pretty much. You have to tell the computer what to do. And that's the sound of the reboots. So we're going to finish the show in very soon. Yeah, so I was saying the
functional and
and functional. What it does is specifically focused on what you need to do. So, for example, in Game Studio, what is it called?
Game Maker Studio.
Game Maker Studio. It's focused on you to create games.
Yes.
So, most probably object-oriented programming has
very much so.
Where that's a nice word for when. Collision detection, which is super important for game development.
I actually had to program that, and it was very, very finicky to recognize that the bullet, that the little the little triangle of
the asteroid bullet, boom,
that it would go and hit it, and then the asteroid should split.
Right, exactly, and then you have to make the animation, and then if then go to when hit. Make the animation explosion and then delete assets, something like that.
But I also even had to manually create the hitbox. So
exactly,
that it would that only in this area it would recognize, and it couldn't like go near it, and it would still be recognized as being hits, because then it would be very, very weird.
Right.
And I even programmed that if the ship were to get hit by an asteroid, it would also explode.
Okay.
And but the most fun I had was making it be chromatic. It would change colors continually.
Of course.
But to make it loop was the most difficult part.
Well, that would be something I could be good at. So see, that's why you have teams in development. You got the graphical team, and then you got the programming team, and then you got the director that kind of has a lot of experience and then has the helicopter view.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody for listening in. What we're going to do now to finish up the show is I'm going to show you guys Street Fighter that comes. It doesn't come with the game. With the operating system, but you can download it somewhere. We're not allowed to promote that. You got to have a copy of Street Fighter, and I do. I have 2 copies of Street Fighter on my Switch. And let me pull it up. So Jeff, I'm going to ask you, our producer, to change over to the screen. And we've got some controllers right here, some USB controllers. There we go. This is connected to our Raspberry Pi. And I'm going to go ahead and launch.
These controllers seem familiar to me.
Yes,
from a long lost memory from when I was young.
Yeah, so these are the typical Super Nintendo controllers. They were the first with left and right, I guess. Were they the first? Well,
I wouldn't know.
I don't know either, but let's put it this way. It was my first controller. It looks so cool that I have 4 buttons now instead of instead of the original NES controller that had only two.
Only two.
And it was square, and this one was more ergonomic. So it felt like we were moving forward in the gaming community, in the gaming industry, in the gaming life. And yeah, we're gonna play one of the games that I've spent many times challenging people, and they're coming over my house. And yeah, here we go, Street Fighter. We're gonna load up.
Street Fighter what? Because I'm very aware that
so-
they really pumped a lot of titles. Turbo
Yeah,
4,
we're gonna start up
Ultra.
Turbo. Here we go. So we're gonna do a little bit of smack talking. Oh, that's loud. Let me bring that down a bit.
I think you need to not the computer. You should lower the volume.
Yeah, let's do that.
To any of the viewers who recognize that sound,
Oh, I'm sure if you're my age, you've played this for hours on end with your friends, and it's pretty simple. You lose, you drop.
you lose, you dropped.
Yeah, so this is the turbo version, which means it was faster. And I remember that they brought in some more moves. So here we go. This is the original cast of Street Fighter. And you go ahead. What do you want? What do you want me to... Let's see if you can give me a fight.
I'm going to go for the I personally don't really play Street Fighter, nor have I ever, or I
Right.
have in the past, but I have not practiced the input commands.
Sure.
Right?
Let's go for it. I'm going to take Dalsim.
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 I'm going to go for
He's
the
a stretchy guy. He's
the
got long arms. Boom. Stretch.
I'm going to go for the classic Ryu
Go for
or
it.
Ryu.
Start.
I don't know how to pronounce
Start.
it.
We got to finish up this show with some classic gaming. And we'll go to Japan.
We're going to Japan?
Yeah. Can you press start?
Oh, my bad.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if you can give me... Okay, Jean-Luc, come on.
Okay.
Come on.
So
Yeah, so
it's very. I'm used to modern day Super Smash Brothers, right?
yeah, it's a little faster. Oh,
Much faster.
You're getting me, buddy. You're getting me.
But what's still amazing is that this is being run on this tiny little keyboard of a computer, right?
One more.
Oh nope.
Jump.
Nice, nice read, nice read.
Thank you. Yeah, so again, I think it's really fun that you can just go in and download these games and re-experience or experience for the first time, really, because these are really awesome games.
This Street Fighter is one of the few fighting games that set the standard for.
It's an amazing franchise.
For the competitive fighting scene, right?
Yes. Oh. I need some distance from you, buddy. Yes, it's down forward for the flame.
I cannot seem to figure to get the legendary Hadouken going very consistently.
Oh, you got me.
Oh, hey.
Nice. Nice grab, buddy. So yeah, that was a grab move. You know how to activate that?
I have no idea. I'm letting
forward,
my
it's forward punch, I think.
I'm letting
Yeah.
my Smash muscle memory do my.
Okay, now
do
no
most
mercy.
of
Now
the-
no mercy.
No mercy. Oh no. So clearly, you can, for those who are watching, you can see that my father has much more experience with this game than I do. I think
Yeah.
this game is older than I am.
It probably is. We can search that probably, but I think Nintendo is in the 90s, right? Hey, let's ask the producer. Jeff, did you play some Nintendo? What was your favorite game? Mario, yeah.
Mario,
Safe answer,
classic.
buddy. Safe answer. Yes. Very good. Yeah. So, in the spirit of experimentation, let's see what's up with Mortal Kombat. Let's see if it works.
Have you seen the new Mortal Kombat movie?
I'm excited. I think they're finally gonna give it justice. The Mortal Kombat movie.
Because I've heard that the other Mortal Kombat movies were absolutely cheesy and horrible.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But now they have the technology to do it right, and the writers are being paid well. So
Oh.
I'm expecting Marvel style character building on this one. I think Scorpion is gonna be sort of the Logan, the dark hero.
That's a high standard for
Yeah,
those who
yeah,
know,
yeah.
who have seen the Marvel movies.
Okay, guys, so we're gonna finish up the show with one last game, and here we have the classic Mortal Kombat 3, and I am gonna try to work with. You're going Scorpion?
I'll go. No, I'm going to go Sub-Zero.
Okay. Well, I'll go Scorpion then. The
All
classic.
right,
This is El Clásico of Mortal Kombat. El Clásico.
Yellow, blue.
Yellow, blue. Fire versus ice.
So I'm surprised that it's running very, very smoothly. Actually,
It is.
I do not feel any lag.
No, I can't, Jeff.
Yes, sadly,
we'll figure that out on the next show, hopefully.
For those listening, the only complaint that I have about this is that we can't make it go full screen. It's still
exactly.
It's still a tiny little window on the full the physical screen that we have going on.
Oh, you beat me with just simple, brutal
Punches and kicks.
I can't even do the come over here.
Yeah, do you even remember?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Oh no, wrong one.
What was the input command for that?
Back punch.
Back punch.
I can also do that.
Oh, nice. Teleport around the screen.
Yes.
All right. Okay, that's. So, what do you think about the graphic nature of Mortal Kombat?
I love it. That what they did was, which was very unique, was photograph. Well, there you go, Jean-Luc. You beat me.
Finish the sentence.
Yeah, what they did was, thank you, Jeff. We can turn off the screen now, and we're gonna conclude. Yeah, Mortal Kombat was done with photography, and then web safe colors, and so it was very interesting. It looked realistic, and when we played it for the first time, we felt like we were playing something brand new, brand new. And of course, the arcade version was a bit better done. So on the MAME, I think that was MAME platform.
No idea.
Well, in the arcade versions are always different than the console versions, and usually those are ports, and they have to simplify it and make it a little more light for the consoles, because usually the consoles are cheaper and arcades are pretty powerful computers. Yeah, let's turn this off. Sorry about that. Yeah, so so they photographed these people in costume. And then
these were real people
in
real costumes.
Costume.
Wow.
And then they posed, but think about it. If you can't draw or you can't afford a great let's say digital artist, pixel artist, that's how you could end up doing it.
Wow.
And it became a creative style.
All right.
And Mortal Kombat invented a bit the finishes. It was big trouble in the States because on the Nintendo, it was without the blood. So this was where that violence aspect of gaming was a big issue. And it's not like I don't disagree with it, because for me, I played the Nintendo version. I didn't really miss the blood. I didn't need the violence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a Nintendo kid, and some people have told me that old people want to play Nintendo and young people want to play the PlayStation because it's a little more adult, I guess. It's got more adult titles.
GTA.
Oh yeah, horrible,
Call
horrible.
of Duty.
Yeah, horrible. Not my thing at all.
And Fortnite now these days.
Yeah, exactly. So let's finish off with thank you everybody. We tried something a little bit different today, and we wanted to show you guys what we were doing at home, and we've got more things coming up. Jean-Luc?
Thank you for listening and watching.
Yeah.
And I would like to quickly mention the different shows that we have going on this week and later today.
Exactly. Excuse me. Let's go for it.
At
Soppy Mix Studios.
At 7 o'clock today, Saturday, we have a Raw with action coach Dave Martinez.
Dave, good friend of mine.
Monday, we have Politica Ta Cruel with Alan Howell from POR.
Don't miss it.
For the Aruban listeners and viewers that we have. Jamars, 6 ore dia tarde, nos tem Florin Talk. That's a new one to me.
Yeah, sounds new to me too.
And 8 ore Jamars, nos tem Ejecuta. Did I pronounce that correctly this time first try?
Yes.
Yes.
Good for you.
At 9, we have Unfuckwithable.
I guess so.
And that's all of those are Jamars. Jarasong nos ting Pillow Talk Ochor, all on Soppy Mix Studios. And then Jawips nos ting a podcast, Soppy Mix Miss.
Yes. Thank you for that, Shanuk. And we want to give a shout out to the whole Soppy Mix family. Thank you guys. You guys are doing an amazing job. And let's move forward together. And we'll see you guys soon.